Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Today I am super excited because we are going to put together my reading planner for 2026. This is a planner that I completely customize. I make this planner, print it, trim it, punch it from cover to cover, and I am thrilled because I've worked really hard on this planner this year. We're going to do all of that together in this video. Let me tell you up front, I am filming this late in the day, so we are kind of rushed against time before it gets dark, and so the light may change during this video. I'll try to adjust it in editing, but I really wanted to get this out because I'm just so super excited for it. So stay tuned. This is going to be a little bit longer video, but I am going to do a flip through of this gorgeous planner. We are going to put this planner together from scratch, laminate covers, trim the pages, punch the pages, put in the discs, and I'm going to talk to you about the cost of putting this planner together. You know, I've done a couple of videos about planner cost and how I'm going to save money in 2026, and this is a perfect example of that. So I am going to take the time to actually do cost breakdowns as we go through each portion. We have a lot to do. Let's go ahead and get started. So some of the administrative stuff, this is a flagship product in my shop. It is now available in my shop. The link will be down below, along with my budget planner, which is another flagship product. But really, these are the two planners, the reading planner and the budget planner, that got me into this community, because these are the things that I enjoy the most. And so this is what kind of gets me excited. So I'm going to try to stay controlled during this video. Okay, where are we going to start? We're going to be a little bit all over the place because we have a lot to do. The first thing I'm going to do is work on the cover because I need to get that laminated. You see that I have printed all my inserts, including my covers, including my dashboards, and I have not cut them. I want to do as much of that as I can on this video so that we can, so that you can see what it really takes to put together a planner from beginning to end. Because I think some people think that it's like way too much work, and it is a lot of work. It's not as easy as going to buy a planner, but it's really not that much effort. Okay, so first, let's talk about the cover. These are gorgeous covers. I absolutely adore them. This first one was just a sample print, so I'm going to move that to the side. But I love this. It says Reading Journal, a planner for readers by readers. And so I am going to go ahead and do the inside, where it has a quote from Jane Austen. She is a great reader and has no pleasure in anything else. Jane Austen. And I absolutely love this. So let's get it trimmed. The back says Planning by Eva. So give me a moment and I'll get this lined up and go ahead and get everything trimmed. Okay guys, I'm trying to get this lined up. I'm very careful about printing covers because I'm really bad at it. So this time I am going to just stick to the print marks. Whenever I print my products, I always include a print mark on it, a cut mark, and I usually just use the first cut mark and I kind of cut underneath the cut mark a little bit, and I just cannot do that this time with these covers. It's not as important with the pages, the internal pages, but these covers, you need to be careful with it because you don't want to be in a situation of, so I'm just checking to see if I have any white edges. Right, I have a little bit right there. I think I'm going to try and trim it. This is what I'm saying. You want to have your cover as nicely cut as possible if you are laminating. Laminating, guys, it's not hard by any means, but you for sure want to make sure that you cut appropriately so that the effort you put into making your cover isn't wasted. And like I said, I'm just not good at it. So I'm being a little bit more careful than I normally would be with these covers. I'm pretty much trying to cut like as close to that cut mark as possible. And like I said, in the past, sometimes I would actually kind of estimate, but this time I'm not really estimating. This is a planner that I will use all year, and I want it to be right. Okay, but this looks really good. Okay, I love that. Yeah, I love that. So, here we are. This is the cover, all cut. Now, the next step to getting your covers ready for assembling your planner for me is lamination. I don't laminate all my covers, but this is my reading journal that I will have the entire year, and so I want the cover to last. So I am going to laminate it. Let's speak a little bit about lamination. So I use Scotch thermal laminating sheets, 5 mil, and I have a 5 mil laminator. I will laminate the covers twice, front side and back side, 2 times, to get 10 mil thickness. And that way I have the same thickness as what we buy with Happy Planner. That's how you get 10 mil thickness. Another thing I want to say about the covers, and I'm taking the time to do this in this assembly video because I've been talking about what it takes to print your own planners. For my cover pages, I printed those on matte photo paper. A pack this large costs about $15, and it will last me the entire year. I pretty much only print covers and dashboards on this. And most of the time I don't even print dashboards, just covers. Okay, so let's laminate the first cover. All right, guys, I'm going to speak fast because this is on time lapse. I am putting my front cover in my 5 mil pouch. I am going to laminate the front and back cover twice. I'm just getting it straight, and I'm going to come back after I've laminated. And yeah, it's now laminated. I know, magic, right? So now that I've laminated it once, I've actually done the front and back. I am going to go ahead and trim the first lamination. I am just trimming as close as possible to the actual cover. Because I'm going to laminate this twice to get to the 10 mil thickness, I'm not worried about breaking the seal necessarily. I am just getting as close as I can to the cover without cutting it, without cutting the cover. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the back cover. I'm just trimming it all the way around. I'm just being really careful not to cut the actual cover, and I'm just getting as close as possible. Once I finish the trim, I'm going to go ahead and do the second pass of lamination. So I'm putting that laminated sheet into another laminating pouch. This is the double lamination technique to give you 10 mil thickness. I'm just making sure that it's straight and ready for me to laminate for the second time. And so spending a lot of time making sure it's straight because I need to trim this and I don't want to mess up my trim. So I went away. I was supposed to put you on hold. I didn't, but it laminated really quickly. So I am just going to go ahead and get the second cover set up. So this is now the back cover. And while the front cover is finishing lamination, I'm just making sure the back cover is straight in its pouch, ready to go through the laminator. And it all looks good. So I am happy with the way this looks. Let me go ahead and get that front cover so that we can put the back cover through. And while that is kind of wrapping up, I just want to mention the cost really quick. So it cost me a total of about $1.80 to laminate both of these covers. As I run the second one through, you see that the front cover is finished. And that $1.80 just represents the really the cost of the laminating pouches. That's basically all it is. Something I had in my stash, but if you don't have it, then you would have to buy the laminating pouches, of course. And it's like 25 in a box and it costs $10. So I just figured out what the price is per pouch, and I used 4 pouches. And so that was like $1.60. And then the cost of the paper and ink came out to about 20 cents. So $1.80 for a really nice cover set. I am just going to go ahead and trim the extra lamination off and make sure that I trim it down to size. And for this second lamination, I am making sure that I don't break the seal because this is the final lamination. And it is very sturdy, very thick. It is at the 10 mil weight, which is the same weight you get in a traditional Happy Planner for a fraction of the cost. So I like the way these turned out. Just make sure that you're careful with your measuring. I design my covers to be printed and cut at 7.5 by 9.5 because you want your cover to be bigger than your actual insert, right? So it's all good. Now that it's laminated though, you do need to go ahead and punch. For punching through lamination, you really can't use the Happy Planner punch. It's just not strong enough. You really do need to use the power punch. And so that's what I have here. You punch one hole at a time, but it goes really quick. I would say, if I wasn't doing it on camera, it probably would take me just about 5 minutes, if that, to punch through both of these planners. But I just start by making a little dot in the center of my cover. I actually use an example cover to line it up perfectly so I don't mess up. And then I punch the first hole in the center. And then I line it up with the back cover, make another dot, and punch the first hole on the back cover. Then I come back in with my power punch, and I use that first hole as a guide, and I use the guide on the punch, and I just punch the other holes, and it's automatically lined up. Everything fits perfectly, and it works beautifully. And so I do that for the front and the back, and that pretty much wraps up my cover. So you will notice as I wrap this up, I didn't round the corners. I will do that off camera because I forgot to do it on camera. But yeah, that's basically all it takes to make your cover. So for less than $2, I have this gorgeous cover for my reading planner for 2026. And I'm super excited to use it. So let's move on to the next step. Okay guys, we are picking up where I left off after doing the lamination. So in full transparency, this is the next day because I did run out of light for filming, and it was way too dark. So I just waited until the next day. So let's go ahead and put this planner together, and I'll do the flip through at the same time I put the planner together and talk about the different components and the cost. So because it's the next day and it was too dark, I already cut or trimmed and punched all of my pages. So they are all good to go and ready to be installed. And so I'll talk about some best practices around that as we start putting it together. So let me go ahead and get these discs open and we will start putting this together. Okay, discs are ready to go. So let's continue with cost and such. These discs cost me $0 because they are repurposed. I bought them a few years ago on a deep clearance, and I've used them a couple times, so that is a $0 cost for me. I am going to move the inserts over and set up the core part of my planner, which is the cover and the dividers. I'm going to do that first, and then we are going to start putting in the sections of this reading planner and doing a flip through. So just to get you caught up on the cost, we are at a total, I believe, let me see my notes, of $1.80, which is the cost of really just laminating the covers. Truthfully, if you didn't laminate the covers, it would be like 20 cents. So I love these discs. I think they go really well with the cover design. Super excited about it. Okay. All right, we'll see how my punch works with them. Right now they're a little rough, but we'll make it work. Okay, so then I need to put in my dividers. Now, you guys, like I said, I've been talking about saving money and different ways to save money. So when I make my printable planners, I repurpose what I can. So I need monthly dividers and section dividers. And I'm going to use these clear dividers to make that happen. And these are repurposed from other planners. So let's just see. I need to find 6 and kind of keep them in order. See, some of them already have labels, which is fine. I could take them off, but I do have some I've used that I've already cleaned off. So let's see if I can get these in some type of order. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think 6. So these dividers cost me nothing because I am repurposing them. So let me just get them in the correct order so that they're lined up. So 2, because these will be my monthly covers. I need one right here, 3, I need one right here, 4, I need one right here, 5, and I need another one. Ooh, I think I need one that goes all the way at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me grab this one. I think I am going to have to repurpose this one and take that cover off. Take the label off. So, okay, no big deal. Let me just grab my tweezers and remove this cover because I keep saying that, this label, because I'll replace it. Okay, so I have all my labels. Well, not labels yet, but I have all my dividers. I brought these out as well because, again, I like to use my stash, but I think I have enough dividers where I don't need to use any of these extra bookmarks. So I am going to go ahead and label these dividers first. I have labeled the top dividers that I'm going to use. I didn't really label them. I actually took them out of another planner and they were already labeled. This ideation, I'm going to have to call that something else. But I think I want to call it like challenges or something, but I don't have the label for it. So I just left ideation on there and I'll relabel that later. Okay. I am also taking out of my existing reading planner, the one for 2025, because I'm going to disassemble this in December anyway. But I repurpose my month labels. You know, when you buy a Happy Planner undated, you always get these month labels. So this is a great way to repurpose them if you make your own planners. And I just keep these, actually. And I just stick them on here. So super easy. I don't have to make any label, and this didn't cost me anything extra because this is from probably a planner I bought several years ago, if you want me to be honest with you. And I do buy those type of planners when I go to clearances, like Michael's clearances, and you know, they have like a 2-year-old planner that they're selling for $4 or something, and it's undated. I buy it just for stuff like this. I take the covers out. I take whatever I can. It's like salvaging the planner. So okay. I'm just popping these in here. This just helps give the planner a little bit of structure when I pop in all my inserts. And then my trackers and notes section will go in the back. Okay, so we are good to go, you guys. Now, I am going to go ahead and put in this, actually, you know what? I'm going to put this to the side because I'm going to put it in front of my trackers. I used to have it in the front, but I'm going to keep the front of my planner looking the way it should look. First thing I'm going to put in are my dividers. Okay, and I have, I think 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I have 7. 4, no, 8. 8. Okay, so the planner comes with 8. That's nice to know because your girl thought it was only 6. So I need to put 1 for each month. You just put them in any order that you want. I'm glad it has 6 because I kind of need 6. I don't want 2 bibliophiles though. I think I'll put the 2 bibliophiles in the back. I made extras of that bibliophile because that's kind of like my reading word. Because that describes me very well. I am a bibliophile, so. Yep, I'm just putting these in. Now, I printed all these dividers on my home printer. Nothing special. Okay, let me be careful that I don't tear these though. I did print these on cardstock, and I tore that one a little bit. That's okay. Maybe a little bit more careful putting these in. They are on cardstock, or actually photo paper, which is about 48 pounds. So this isn't like heavy cardstock. The extra 2, I think that's why I included 8 in this planner, so that you could have some extras if you wanted to create extra sessions. But the extra 2 are going to go in the back part of my planner, the top level dividers. And yeah, so all the dividers are now in. They look good already. I love it. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and flip through the planner and get these pages in. I'm going to try to maybe, I don't know, put it here and we can flip through. Let's see how we can make this work. Okay guys, we are in speedy mode as I flip through this section. So we started off with a nice name page, and then we just got into the annual calendar with some open notes on the back. I want to point out that I'm using these lined icons throughout this planner because I'm bringing in my love of adult coloring, so you can color those icons throughout. So I'm flipping through kind of quick. These are just the annual trackers. What I'm really wanting to focus on here are the annual items that you track. Things like book of the month. If you have any annual challenges like reading certain genres, listing your top 10 books, keeping track of your year in pixels, filling out your reader profile. Those are things that really go in the front of your reading journal. So I have some favorite author sheets here. This is where you keep track of your, I would say your current favorite authors. They may not be your all-time favorites, and you can rate them. I use a 1 to 10 system, but you can use whatever system you want. You also can keep track of your author backlist. That actually is really important for readers because we tend to read a lot of author backlist stories. You also have an annual reading wish list. I would say that's definitely more at an annual level than like a monthly level. Those might be like your marquee books that you want to read that year. Also, books to buy, kind of similar. Then you have your 5-star books, your annual reading stats where you go in and you put, how many books you read that month or how many rereads did you do, how many DNFs. And then to wrap up the annual section, you have a nice year in review page where you can reflect on, did you meet your goals? How many books did you read? Things like that. So I absolutely love this annual section. It is customized for readers. That's why the tagline on this planner is made for readers by readers. So let's put in some of these monthlies. So this is my thing. I have a little pet peeve about monthlies in reading planners because a lot of people who do reading planners, you can kind of tell that they don't read because they'll basically just stick in a regular weekly layout and call it a reading planner. And most readers, that's not what they use monthly planners for. They don't plan to read, they just read. But on this monthly overview, I've put in a place to list your reading goals, a place to list your bookish events, a place to list your book hauls, and then you can like track your progress on your reading goals. That bookshelf is more of a progress tracker. So if you've achieved 50% of your goal that month, you color in half the bookshelf and so forth. But like I said, I really designed this planner for readers. You have a list for your to be reads for the month, and then you really have journaling space on your weeklies. And that's because I'm not going to say most, I went by what I like as a reader. I don't plan my reading, but I do like to have a place where I come in each week and reflect on my reading. That's what's important to me. Yes, I have a place where I put my reading goals and the number of books I read or the hours I listened to. That's fun to track, but I really like to reflect. I also want to point out that those little icons in the corners, again, bringing in my love of adult coloring and just sharing it with whoever gets this reading planner. So as I put these in, I'm just popping in the monthlies. I print 6 at a time because I set up my reading journal for 6 months at a time. But I did notice that I actually didn't put them behind the correct tab. So I'm going to move those around. As I do that though, let's just revisit the cost. So we were at $1.80. I printed about 60 pages back and front. So the cost of printing cost me a total of about $2.40, which means my total cost for putting this planner together is approximately $4.20. And guys, you can't beat that cost for getting a custom reading planner all set up. I didn't have to pay anything for the disc, that's repurposed. I didn't have to pay anything for the frosted dividers, those were repurposed. So I think that came out to be a great total for this planner. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the extra pages that I include with this planner. Before I get into the extra pages, let me just say again, this planner is available right now in my shop. The link will be provided down below. Okay, so I like to include just some extra pages really in my planner so that I don't have to just continuously print. But also, this year, I separated like most of my challenges into the extra section. That way you can, use these trackers and challenges and put them wherever you want in the planner. So I have everything from a reading wrap up to your audiobook wrap up. That's where I put the cover of my books and I do the star rating. And I keep track of my books that way. I also have my book review pages and my audiobook review, which I love this page because it gives you a space to list the narrator's name and rate the narrator. And that's what those microphones are for. I love that page. I also included the New York Times 100 Best Books of the 21st Century. I included Oprah's Book Club, the complete list as of December 2024. These are just great ways to get book reading recommendations. And I'm just kind of flipping through all the challenges that I included in here. And you see, there are a ton of challenges and trackers. What I tend to do is I put all my trackers in one spot and then I place them throughout my planner as I need them. I really love this book adventure challenge. It's a different adventure on the book, and then you just read a book that has that adventure in it. Love that. Read by the month challenge, seasonal reading challenge, and look, more coloring book elements. And then I have my monthly reading logs. These are set up so that you can just have a fun way to track your reading time. And so each month has a different image, and you basically coloring an image for every hour that you read that month. It's just a fun way to keep track of how much you're reading. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and get these organized as far as where I'm going to put them in my particular planner. When you print these out, you can put them wherever you want. I tend to put my active trackers in a separate spot from my extra trackers. And what I mean by that is I read a lot. I read about 250 plus books a year, if I haven't said that. I think I've already said that. So my book reviews and rating my books, so like my book wrap ups, I use those like every week, because I do complete my book reviews. I do rate every single book that I read for the month. So that's an active tracker. I'm not going to keep that all the way in the back of my planner. I'm going to put that in a separate section. My series book list, I read a lot of series. I do enjoy reading like romance, so there's tons of series in romance and things like that. So I like to put that up front. I like to move my New York Times bestseller list up front. So it's just things like that. And that's all I'm doing now, is just kind of organizing where I put these trackers in my planner. I will probably end up relabeling my top tabs just to make sure everything is clear. But since I'm repurposing stuff for now, it works until I get a chance to print a new label. So that's it. I've got my planner set up, guys, for the most part. I'm just going to stick these final tracker sheets in different places and move on to wrapping this up. Okay, let's see how it looks at the end. I am totally in love with this planner. I will say I am ready for 2026 in my reading journal. This is amazing. I have my clear dividers in here. I might change these labels out. I have a lot of those label sheets, and I don't know if I'm liking black, but we'll see how that goes. But I have a couple at the top. I will rename Ideation to Extras. But yeah, I'm not going to flip through it again because we just flipped through everything. But I do have my annual section here. And then I go into each month. So each month has this great dashboard, the monthly overview, monthly calendar, weekly journal pages, enough for 5 weeks. I added my reading logs, challenge tracker, and it goes to the next month. And then at the back, you have your active trackers. That's where I do my reading wrap up, my series tracker, my book reviews, and then I have left additional reading challenges in the back that I can use at any point. I am so excited about this, you guys. Keep in mind that this planner is available right now in my shop on Etsy. It is linked down below if you're interested in this printable. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a happy week planning.